Hey everybody, what's going on? So we're at the Open Circuit Series right here. We have our top 8 competitor, Mark from Team 6, right? Alright, so he's running that new spice, the DDD deck, and here's his deck profile. He top 8 out of 55 people. Alright, here we go.
I came into the event, I knew how to play the deck, so I figured I'd just go for it and give it as much as I can, because the deck was supposed to be coming out a long time ago, so since then I knew how to play the deck, and I'll just go into my ratios and explain everything. To start things off, 3 DD Savant Kepler. Arguably the most important card in the deck, because he searches your searchers. And if anything, if you learn from Necros, searching your searchers is like the best thing in the world. His scale effect never comes up. You use him mainly as a skill to pendulum summon for late game pushes, and his other monster effects only came up like once today. 3 Swirl Slime is arguably one of your main combo starters. Just having this with a Kepler usually means you make a board of Crystal Sig, and I'll explain some of that later. His secondary effect just gives you extra pluses. So you make your fusion, and then if you've already normal summoned, you just give it for an extra push, and you just keep going. 3 Necro Slime. Okay. 3 Necro Slime. He's your Poly from Grave. Don't really need to explain him much. He's only good for when you're already contributing to your board and you're making your final end pieces. Overall, he's not bad. I want to run him at 3. Like I always love seeing this card, and it never lost me a game. This card is so good. Like, it's so good. Like, normal summoning it, special summoning it, he triggers all your extra deck effects, he makes all your synchro plays, he just makes you plus so much. Explaining what he does, like, when you pitch a card to special summon it from hand, you can trigger your Ragnarok effects, you can trigger your Genghis or Alexander effects if you need to make like a Trish, or you need to make like extra Meteor Burst or Crystal Wing plays. I'd never ever drop this card, and there's a reason why the OCG hit it to 2.
Sorry, that was DDD.
Lamia, yes. I played 3 Ragnarok. It's standard, you have to play him at 3. When you have a monster reborn in the form of a monster, and it's a pendulum scale that's a monster reborn, that you can't go wrong. Usually you end up using him as scale the most of the times, but in late game you usually special summon him. The only time he came up was when I was making Thomas plays, where I was making Titanic Galaxy or Kali Yuga against Paleozoics. But apart from that, he's mostly scale plays. 3 Copernicus. This card is so much controversy right now because a lot of people like playing 2, and I would never ever cut this card to 2. Your deck revolves around graveyard plays. 3 Foolish Burials. You have to, if you would play any deck that utilizes your graveyard and you have the ability to play 3 Foolish Burials and a Foolish Burial, why wouldn't you play all 4? He extends your combos. He just makes you plus. For the 1-ofs, I play 1 Thomas, 1 Newton, 1 Orthros, 1 Berthamet. Thomas came in clutch a couple of games, which was good, but 1 was just fine. I never needed a second or a third. Like, having 2, I was testing this like the night before the event. Having 2, it would just end up in my hand and I would just break. Or if I made a play with this, like it wouldn't be strong enough to hold my opponent off for the next turn. Newton is, you mainly use him for your recovery effects, for the recovery effect. So pitching him to grab a contract from grave. I've grabbed a DD from grave sometimes, but you mainly use him to grab back your Swamp King. 1 Orthros for the scale pop effect. He's a double Cyclone. And a lot of times my opponent never popped him. Like they would leave him on scale and then I would just use him the next turn, which would create extra problems. And then I played 1 Berthamet for his level modification, but I mainly played him for making Caesar. And that was it. That's the main DD monsters. And I also played 2 Maxi. That's it. For the spells, I played 1 for 1, Broken, 1 Foolish, or Foolish in the deck, no need explaining. 1 Upstart, 1 Swamp King. There was 1 game where I missed a second Swamp King, but I won the game anyways, so it wasn't really necessary. But 1 Swamp King is just fine, you never need to. 2 Desires. I was playing 3 before this event, but I would always draw a second Desires and it wouldn't make me go off as much. So I cut it to 2 and it worked perfectly today. 3 Dark Contract with the Gate. He searches every monster in your deck. Once per turn tanky that does not die. It's so good. Like, you have a searcher that searches this, and then you can search the rest of your monsters. Like, there's no need to go any further than that. I played 3 Allure, draw power, and that's it for the spells. And for my traps, I only played 4 traps. Played 3 barriers and 1 vanities. A lot of people are playing 5 traps, and when I was playing 5 traps, I would always draw 2, and I could never give a full push. So just the barriers and the emptiness just helped lock out my entire game. Just making a board, even some of the most mediocre boards, you have a barrier to back it up, it's usually game. And that's 40 cards. To the extra deck, I played 2 Genghis. I never needed a third. 1 Diarch, 1 Beowulf, and 1 Wave Oblivion King, Caesar Ragnarok. This was my 15th card, and I debated cutting it for Trish, but in hindsight, Trish was only a win more card. So even if it outs every board, like making this and then having a Necro Slime Engrave to go off with it just overall helps than making a Trish, because if they strike your Trish, you lose too many resources to make it and then you can't go any further. Whereas with this, even though you're making it with Swamp King, it gives a beefy beat stick and it gives problems to your opponents. For the synchros, I played 1 Formula, 1 Meteor Burst for combo extensions, 1 Alexander, 1 Siegfried, 1 Crystal Wing, 1 Omega. Omega doesn't come up as much as I thought it would. Like, I made it a couple times and it won me 1 or 2 games, but overall it was lackluster. Like, sure, I put back some Necro Slimes for extra plays, but it never really contributed to doing anything. And for the Exceeds, I played 1 Wave King Caesar, 1 Beatrice, 1 Kali Yuga, 1 Titanic Galaxy. Kali Yuga's lit. Kali Yuga's lit. Caesar, I played this today. It was better than I thought it would be, but it wasn't great. Like, it protected me, and sometimes I made a push and I couldn't go any further, or for those wonky hands, and them just destroying my card and then me grabbing a contract for the next turn and then having a Ragnarok to go off with during my opponent's turn just meant that, like, it was more trouble for them because I was going to make bigger boards. Beatrice never came up, even though it was for hands where I only have like a swirl and a necro with traps. I never need to make it. Yugioh is one of the most broken cards in this deck. Heavy Storm on legs during either player's turn, and a lot of people miss the effect where you can set a contract from your grave to the field. So about 3 different matches I went into, I heavy storm my Paleozoic opponent, and then because they think all my contracts are gone, it's safe for the next turn, and then I just use the effect to set the contract from grave, and then it's usually game from there because I set gate, and then I just grab whatever I need and just go off and finish the game. Titanic, I have a love-hate relationship with this card because it just lost me top 8. It's good for when you don't know what you're going against, because usually your opponent's going to try and activate Desires or something to bait it out, and having this with a Siegfried on board just like means they can't do anything. So, and there was one game where I couldn't make Siegfried, or I could make Siegfried, but the better choice was to make Titanic and Crystal Wing. So I made Titanic Crystal Wing and set a barrier to back it up, and then after that it was just game from there. 2 Denkos, 2 DD Crows, 2 Radiants, 1 Among Us. Denko, I understand the reasoning why people don't play Denko, because it takes up your normal summon, but you can easily play around your normal summon. Like in my top 8 match, I made a board of Crystal Wing Siegfried, and I had an extra normal summon, so I just dropped Denko, and then my opponent just struggled to play around it, and then like it locks out your opponent and wins you every match with that trap heavy matchup. DD Crow didn't come up as much as I thought it would, being a lower target and all, but the times I did have it, it pushed me at an advantage, because I would just banish either a Paleozoic trap, or in my mirror match I just banish Lami. Radiant, a lower target, there's a Kaiju, there's a Kaiju for that. 1 Among Us, because I play 1 Slumber. For the spells I play 2 Lullaby for the mirror match. Sauce, didn't see it all day. Won my mirror matches though.
Yo, sorry I interrupted your moment.
2 Twin Twister. 2 Twin Twister. No worries, man. No worries. 2 Twin Twisters. When I sided it, it didn't help, and I accidentally sided against the Paleo matchup, and I didn't side in Twin Twisters.
Wait,
it was an accident.
So was it Blaze or not?
No, it wasn't Blaze. But I still won the match. 2 system downs for ABC. System down doesn't need to be explained. It's way more. 1 Raigeki and 1 Slumber.
Board removal.
Board removal. Like, that's it. Like, board removal is so good. This deck is good. A lot of people don't understand it. And because it's a new deck, I can understand that. But some of the choices people make aren't justifiable. So I would recommend people to just test and then find their best ratios and then come up with what you have and then go forward from there. But overall, this deck is powerful, and the coming next format, because people say in 2 weeks this deck is going to be dead with Zodiacs, it's not going to be dead. Like, there's so many ways you can build this deck. they would just win with it. Funny thing is, the easiest match and the hardest match was Paleozoic. It was Paleozoic. Like, I played against them and using Copernicus made me plus. Copernicus made me plus, but at the same time, if you don't push fast enough, they just outgrind you and you lose. Like, Paleozoics were my only 2 losses today. Everything else, I won with ease. The mirror match is too easy, and ABCs, I played 1 ABC and they didn't do anything today. They didn't do anything today. Shoutouts,
Team 6.
Shoutouts to Team 6.
Good.
Shoutouts to Card Masters, my locals. Shoutouts to Game Nations for hosting this event. Because honestly, like, these events, when they come up, like, if you want to get better, you go to more events. And since I've been going to a lot more events, I've been growing fast as a player. Shoutouts to Card Masters, my locals. Shoutouts to Ralph, always putting in work. Shoutouts to Shaq, the boys.
Honorary member of Team 6.
Honorary member of Team 6.
That's good.
One more question.
I would probably change. Ironically, I've been defending this card, but I would probably change Baphomet from the main. And Baphomet from the main, and I'd probably cut the Beatrice. Beatrice never came up. These two, like, it was good making boards, defensive boards, but honestly, like, if I could play something else that just pushed me further, I would have probably won more matches today. Beatrice never came up. I would probably still test it first, but it would be the first thing I'd cut.
Alright, Mark, thank you again for giving us this deck profile.
No problem.
And guys, if you guys like this video, please click the like button. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. My name's Ralph, Shiftmetagame. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you again for Game Nation, Ray and Andrew for hosting the event. Thank you very much. Oh, shout outs to Sam, who apparently is going to steal a lot of my videos. Alright, later.
That was hella stressful.